So many lines of communications of space, atmosphere lines, space locks, a space interface, interline its connections, interweaving, interwoven, connection line interference, its opposite location directions. Today we're going to try out the line center location of stargates. Now, stargate is to understand where you are and where you basically set lines. It's all about understanding how to travel the location of its position of mind system. There's so many levels of space through an expansion. It's an exploration to its calculations. So putting your individual locations all levels of your identifiers. You have to identify your line connections. It's extremely important because we're coming into a different space, different time, different millennium, different calculations, right? Different command centers, different solar systems. So try to understand the position locations where you have one yellow sun and one moon location and trajectory location. Now that position location is on the line. Now you're in a six-dimensional graph interference. That puts position location to its high system. Now, going into a stargate centers lines to another solar system line, communication system. So instead of having all levels of planets, planets could be in the opposite line center. The stargate locations could be into the furthest communication center interference. Its position, location, and directions, going from one stargate to another stargate to another stargate. So we're going to go through wormholes. And when you go through these wormholes, you really have to understand line center interference. You're going to be identified line center location 6 times. Energy wash of 6 times. That's 12 line position location calculations. You're going to go through a screen center. That screen center is a position location optical line. That's communication to a wind graph location. Center line communication system into formation to its alliance. Okay, so it's like a detector. Detector lining and rotation calculations. No bacteria, no fungus or line center interference or anything calculations. We can't have anything in our line center of the planet locations. It's extremely real when you go in and out of wormholes of communication. You have to recognize the timelines and airline rotation calculations. I did that in Space Discoveries with season 1. We're talking about our calculations of time zones. How to travel through locations online, how to go through a Stargate position portals, position of directions to understand the metric communication system. Now, the allocated line center is all the levels how you set line position. Your connection is the levels of you. How you use it is your determination. Setting course channels of communication, electrical lights, electrical panels, metric interference, core recognition timeline center. In position of direction, understand the lines. Pre-flight is extremely powerful when you come to that line center. Setting course line interference, Stargate position locations. Okay. One line center, okay? The Stargate line center. Now we go into the inner side position location calculations. All right. Setting course channels of communication to this high system. All right. So as we're traveling, you're going to be traveling very, very fast in high center, but the wormhole is going to put you in a line interference. You're going to be scanned in high center locations, all levels of travel location. All right. High channels, communications, all levels, division location. High calculation, modification, all levels to simulation high system to its calculation. Right? Setting course, I already initiate the program line interference. That's why you guys are feeling pressure in position of travel. Vortex lines at high centers. It opens up all line position locations, caps locks, high center. You got position of tap. You got a tap communication line in rotation. Well, that's teleportation, atmospheres of balance. Now, once you understand how to use the telewaving, telegraph, and telecommunication system, then you understand the balance communication to its high system. It's all about recognizing your time frames, time interference, times calculations, times pi. Modify high center interference location as your code signal. That's why you guys are all given position location and call signs. You have to learn how to identify your system. See that location, connection to high center. Now, travel line center code signal locations identify high system to its position. Travel line centers, Stargate line centers, space atmospheres and all line center. Outer limits, orbits and communication line stream. Put position locations to the sectors, vectors, quadrants, interdimensional to all levels eternity 1 system. Initiate program, run line center, calculation line system. There you go. Now you're traveling. All right. Travel recognition of timeline. Positions of half pipe, high center line rotation interference. Course signals, high channel rotation line streams. Its position, location, and directions. How you use your navigation is how you see your signals. Your position of direction is to understand the recognition of timelines through your core. Core recognizes your line center interference, position, location, your stomachs. You have your stomach line center and position, location, navigation stream. How to use your console's communication line centers. All right. You got two line vectors communication into one line rotation. Okay. You have line center location of the moon. Upline signal. Signal position, downline cross. In position of direction is truly how to set line connections on levels. You got the sun line interference. You got the moon rotation and rotation center. Flick the switch. To understand and recognition of timelines is recognizing line interference. It positions the locational levels how you travel through a wormhole of communication, all through timeline frequencies. Setting position locations, all levels of code centers. Now, the code center sends up light straps. Now, a light graph stream is position of directions, right? Scanning channels in the high force line opens all communication to higher positions. It's very complicated stuff because now you're recognizing more lines at different space position locations to its calculation system. All right. Panel line channels. Now, each signal represents position of a realm. What a Stargate is an open position location of directions, setting new communication to program setting, resetting line channels, bringing everything all together in position of travel location. Right? Now, coming into highline centers, we put this all together. Okay? It's to understand the position of what's going on through triangles and force line communication system. Allocates timeline streams and high interference. It programs its line center interference. Now you get a half pipe high center location. This is a 6 waving line cycle. Okay? That sets the tone right away to the alpha channel. Okay, to the beta line center interference in position locations to its delta. Alpha, delta, bravo. Now that calculation interference is its program setting. Tango, tango, foxtrot, communication to the wave line center in rotation to position location. Omega in center line center in position location opening sequence in position of directions to its time frame of its lock line center of its code signal location to all levels of its Stargate position. Recognition of time center. All right. So have fun. All right. Let's see here. Recognizing timeline centers. Pam, Nancy, Gypsy, Don, Terry, Johnny, Guardian, Airbender, Heather. Position locations. Ambi, Jill, Danny, True Light, Susan. All right, you guys are getting your identifiers. You're being scanned 12 times. Position location calculations. All right, it's running smoothly. You guys going through information locations. Terry, Little Jess, Andy, Take Structures, Laura. All right, Sparkles, Heather, Joanne, David, Chris, CC. All right, so what's happening, Missy? What's happening now, guys, is you have to really pay attention to these things, how real it gets, especially when you're traveling through stargates or wormholes. Because you guys have never been through a stargate, you only see it in the skyline, so the sky grid interference. In position, location, and direction is truly understand you through recognition, right? So it's important you understand these things. Wherever you travel, you have to identify your system. Okay? That's the importance you have to understand. That helps you in all ways and forms when you get into more line connections. Now, we got a very busy day. After this, we got to go through all levels of Q&A. After that, I have an interview with Sarah, okay? 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, Mexican time. And she's in the UK, Sarah, 6 hours ahead. So it's 8 p.m. there, 2 p.m. here. So you don't want to watch that, feel free. I'll be going over to her live, okay, on TikTok. So other than that, truly understand the calculations of what you're doing through travel lines. Stay in position, location, directions. Try to understand what you're going through. It's all levels of the how. It's how fast you're going, knowing exactly what you're seeing, and how to use your time, position, locations through its calculation. It gets complicated when you're going through a Stargate. You automatically go through starlights. A starlight sets up its position of direction. The center core line center is all line position location calculation. Each realm has a clocking channel. Okay. The acceleration line stream, its position of its direction locations. So it's what you see through your eyes, what you hear from your ears, and what you understand from your voice commands the system of travel of recognition to its Stargate position. Okay. So going through the Stargate, yeah. It is a weird feeling, and it's a different kind of space that you guys have not been in before, right? It's a different atmosphere. It's a different change, a different galaxy, different universe, different solar system. So like I said, to understand all levels of what a Stargate is and what it can do, position, location of travel. Travel is exciting, but you have to understand what you're doing, right? Once you understand the line center interference, it changes position, location, and directions. Now you guys are channeling very, very high. So let's say you get a clock in the line center. Let's go through circle location. Now make sure you understand this, what you're seeing through position. You see that, right? Okay, you're seeing that, right? You're seeing that, right? See what I'm doing with my finger lines? Lacing line interference, the calculation high system. 4 channels of operation, 5 within position, thumb line center. Click. Signal line channel. Travel location. Do you see it come out? Did you see it come out? Right? So it's all about taking the center line communication of perception out of the visual location into this line connections, into this line connections, into this line connection, into this line connections, right? So your perception sees line center location in this. This is you. Okay. That's you going through this in position, location, direction through perception. The central communication line stream. Now you got center position locations, right? You can have a 24 line stream. You can have a 48 position locations of a window and a 72 track location of a computer line. Now that rotates its spin cycles, position all levels. Now you have a Fibonacci sequence square. You guys have never been through a Fibonacci sequence. A square position, square position, square position, square position. Okay? Now, channeling line, center line, and rotation interference comes in all levels. This is where it changes position of its direction. It high channels its Fibonacci square in its rotation cycle, sets tones in communication system, allocates timeline streams in high interference. It position locations on levels. It opens up all lines of your panels of communication all through your eye receptor. High position location and directions and how you use these things through its formation. Okay? So you come in an illumination path. Now, it's kind of like if I look at a circuitry wall line center in position locations, I'm going to see through perception of 8 circles, or I'm going to see it through 12. It depends on how fast I'm going through my clocking. I'm only referencing 12 lines. It's got to be the ground line center, which is the center operation, which is 24 signals. The left and the right hemisphere of the spaceline communication system has to be balanced in all communication, or you're not going to be able to go through anything through a wormhole of communication, right? So channel line operation is a 24 signal. We already got that through calculations. But once you go through 48, you come into the high line center. 72 is boxing position location of computer lines, and everything through a logit system location is 0001 track location into 144. Position of direction opens up new all levels of calculation. So you can come into Colossus channel. Now, Colossus channel is a communication signal. It's a metal face line triangle. That triangle sets position location, how travel your line connections to the metric interference. Metric interference is the size graph line center to position of its directions. It opens all communication signals into its formation, right? But it's powerful when you come to all levels of perception, location, and what you see through the vision, right? That's what you guys are going to come into. When you're looking at things in the wall line center or anything above position location or side or anything outside line center, you're no longer going to see it in one perception. You're going to see that your clocking centers could be 24, 48, 72, 144. You're going to see 144 circles, location to center line, center location of travel, all through your eyes receptive locations. So it's fascinating when you reach higher lines. Okay, eyes are, like I said, the windows, right? So you have an eye, here's a window. Okay, cross signal locations in position and direction. Setting course line, travel line communication, 12 line positions, right? Setting high interference, sonar communication, all levels of triangles, position, location, directions, right? Setting signal panels and communication triangle line force. That opens all communication systems. Let's change the coloration path. Triangle, position, location, directions. All right. Now that triangle changed line center in position location into starlights. Starlight opens up a new panel line communication and magnetic highway information system. This is what comes into a Stargate line center. The Stargate sets line interference location on line. It opens all communications to your tesseract and your tetrahedron. Position, location, and directions. Setting signals of high interference. Now, rotation line connection. Okay. A rotation line, okay, is a circulatory line center rotation is interference. So you got a circulatory line in rotation and calculations, one position rotation. You got your circulation rotation calculations, right? You got your E-field line connection in position, location, and directions. Setting line channels. Now set up a Stargate line center is the center operation of you in position, location, and directions. Okay. Now, when you go to that line interference, now you can go through shapes, you can go through weather. Let's go through a Fibonacci sequence, line center interference of back force line connection, right? It's very powerful when you see these things and how fast it spins through its trajectory. The solargraph line center and the trial position location the calculation sets line signals. This probes line center locations into north, east, west, and south, setting course channels of communication system. High position location on line, travel line center interference location line position, right? Cloak and dagger, high channels, changing coloration paths, high position location on line, changing all position of center line communication and center operation. Travel communication line centers is all levels how you use your channel setups. Yeah, exactly. Coming in line interference, coming in satellite position locations, probing channels, probing interference, lacing line communication system. It's how you use your time in maintenance. Time maintenance is extremely important because you're reconstructing your thought lines. Remember, thoughts equals intelligence. Position of direction is true to extend all line communication. Yes, atom rotation, set and clock, and dagger. Yep, that's exactly what it is, position of direction. Now, once you get that line center, the position location changes its correlation, direction of its clocking system. It travels right through. Now, when it travels line center interference, it sets up a triangulation circle, a rotation center position of direction. Okay, 3 line communication center lines. Now, it sets line communication to its vector core into its position of its Y line system. See the Y line? Then position location comes into the flux capacitor, centered its line center, opens up a division line tactic high center to its ground line connection of space position. Flux capacitor high force. Now, that changes directory. Now you can position locations of northwest, south, and east. High center channel communication of 4 line triangles. Now, setting line center, circles in position location opens all communication. Atom in rotation center, center communication levels of the sun, and communication to the moon. Travel communication line streams, setting line interference location to calculations. Opens all channels of operation signals, high center location of travel, position location, all levels of direction. ATA can rotate in any way and form. It can circle on so many rotation centers, especially when it goes into time frames. Time frame interference locational levels sets up new stargates in position of direction. Now, it's very powerful when you come into the line connections. Let's change the coloration path, setting new position location directions, coming into blue waving cycles. Now, that blue waving cycle comes into a box position location of calculations. See the box? All right, so that opens up a new channel. Now, that new channel opens up a fluctuation line stand. 4 line position locations to a T reception line communication signal. High positions of its directions. Setting high tones on communications. All of those in 1 line center into graph interference. position locations. All right. Now this sets up the wings. Left wing, right wing, center wing, communication line center, and interference of direct location, north, west, south, and east. Setting line communication. Change the coloration path, coming in line center rotations into position to its diamond core. Now the diamond core can be any position, location, and directions. All right. This is where it gets really interesting, how these are set up in line center. There's the diamond core line center interference. Okay. So it's interesting to look at these things when you're looking line center location of stargates. This is what's in plateau interference when you see these things in the skyline center locations of night. Understanding what it is all loves of you through travel. Your position, location, and direction is to understand how to use your alpha channels. Alpha wave, beta communication centers, line signals, lock interference, lock channels, lock inline interference, line position, location, and satellite connection. It's you in position of direction. How you use your perception is how you see your time frames into its stargates. Now, the stargate opens up a high line position location, right? Setting new line centers. Now, we're going to go into a little bit more communication. Center line communication. Sun comes in line center here in rotation. Over there. There's the sun line. Now, the sun sets line communication in the center operation to its atom line communication system. The high stream interference comes into the moon. Moon sets on the line of rotation interference. Now, the moon can travel one position location, but it has to be its directory location. The communication to its telepathy is extremely powerful. So you got the sun and the moon. Setting line center electrical light connections and interference. Program setting location and levels, the telekinesis program setting. Reposition location and calculations. Electrical light panels. High center interference. All through communication through eye receptor location of a stargate. Hoo-ah. So there's a lot of things you have to understand when you're seeing things through your acceleration. You're mocking speed and all line connections, but you have to truly understand, starting with your alphabetical stream, right? Your data stream, your signal operation stream, your line center communication stream, your communication interference and eye receptor stream. There's so many streams of data processing communication centers. It opens all communication, how you represent your self-line into all calculation of travel, right? So high center interference, position locations, gone through equation. Now, travel connection line centers. Once you understand that position locations, you come in a number sequence. Now, the number sequence changes line interference. It positions of its direction to stargates. Stargates goes one way, and it goes this way at the same time. So it's one atom going this way and one atom going this way, right? It's really powerful stuff because the direction location into a half pipe can go like this in direction, or it can go like this in direction, or it can go like this in direction, or it can go like this in direction, okay? So the stargate is already set up in position location through its calculation high system to high line center of interference position location. Travel line center is all line position of its 12 line position, right? That's your 12 DNA track line location of travel, position of direction, right? So one goes this way and another goes this way, but you're always going through the center operation line communication system. Okay, so it gets complicated. So when you understand how to travel more and more, not only you understand your acceleration line streams, but you understand your position location is all levels of number sequence, number patterns, high force line communication system. You can set up line center location to anything through stargates, but the stargate has to understand its position. Okay, you got a quarter pipe, you got a half pipe, right, which is line center interference. Now, we usually redirect locations of signals and panels. Now, those panels are set up in high line center interference. Program position location and calculation, one road graph line stream in position location of direction. Okay, so there's a lot you need to understand when you're going through a stargate. It's a lot of fun, but you have to understand your acceleration of your time, which is your time maintenance. Okay, so where are we through position of direction here? All right, we're on 24 line signals and 56 line connection. All right, so here we go. Sleeping through Stargate to identify myself, screen the lines. Yeah. Great. It's excellent, Joe. Now be thankful for connecting their brothers and sisters. Led to the tourists. Great. I'm seeing circles all over. Marking the planets and city portals. All right. I've seen 25 million X-Fighters information and some icons. Uniform chain of command. That's great. Scanned and washed. Name given. And now seeing two more heading fast. On the other side, a jump scar from there's beautiful rhythm patterns. Set looking smooth. Set through artists. Command center. Water starters. Wash complete, rainbow wash, complete, scan, and identified as airbender. Great. So it's great. You're identifying your system, know exactly what's going on, rebooting your locations, hieroglyphics, it's live, different positions, Stargate protection, attached. So it's all about understanding when you're going through a wormhole and how fast you're going, right? That's positional levels when you come into that. When you're going through these things, you're going through its information panel. Now, an information panel is a realm connector. A realm connector is basically how to set the tone of its vibration location. It positions its directions all over the videograph line screen, right? So think about this. It's like you're setting up 16 million positions of TV reception lines, and you're going through each box location. Okay, and you're picking up information from each realm line center. Okay, now that rings its status and hide channels. Gets complicated, doesn't it? What's he talking about? So ring status line, 12 line position. Okay, these are 12 lines, right? That's all information, but you're traveling through each realm, right? Picking up information. Okay. Information. So every time you're picking up information, you're picking up position locations, right? So you can go through 16 position location of stargates and one high channel. Now that one high channel is a Fibonacci sequence line position location of overlapping signal. Now that position location on its line communication system, positions of its directions, high channel line center and high line center rotation calculations. High positions of its directions put you in a higher location, right? So let's say you go into the moon cross centers. Moon cross center location to its sun puts your direct location into its triangulation of its force communication, all levels of coloration. 3,000 line position locations of its sun line of its direct location. Hoo-ah. Okay. So there's a lot of confusion if you don't understand you through operation, right? And you have to master these things because you could be vortexing and the physical system has to understand the reaction, right? You're acting of reaction of what's going on. Did I vortex through a Stargate line center or did I vortex through a platitude visualization orb? Where did I go? What's going on? Am I seeing this? Why am I seeing that? So once you understand the 2 and 2, it doesn't become 4. Okay, it all depends on your acceleration line stream. So it can go from 400 to 4,000 to 4 million to 4 billion to 4 trillion line connections, all levels in one travel location, all through acceleration. Once you get in line center at 144, you're coming in line center locations of Mach. Mach position of light speed. Okay, light speed high channel is its line system. Now that position location changes mainframes. Mainframe is your communication of vortex line. And again, you have to understand the alphabetical stream. It sets the tone in communications navigation system. Flight navigations from 1 to 12, right? So in that line interference, calculation of cis line in rotation, this is all going to be on the test. Yep. Center communication line stream is truly stand all levels of view through box, circle, star line positions, question mark communication system, percentage and high center location. You have to start recognizing these as travel of intelligence. You got starline interference. Starline interference communicating right through the circle operation to the center position to its square line, which is opening to the question interference, which is coming in infinity circle location of its percentage open sequence location. all through triangulation, all through communication, in one box position, in one Stargate line center. Okay? You got to go beyond the mind. Once you go beyond the mind, then you understand line position directions, right? It's a lot more fun when you understand that calculation to the system, right? I'll take you guys back. All right. Back in recognition of timeline. So that was a lot of fun. We picked up a lot of Stargate line streams in directional locations, merging into allocated lines, understanding your position, location, and direction. That's mostly understanding when you're understanding more levels of view and sideline, right? It gets line centers in position, location, and directional locations, setting line interference. Now, there's going to be a lot to talk about, obviously, in Zoom. Okay, questions or comments? So it's important you understand what you went through. Everybody went through Stargate. Okay, going through Stargate is recognizing the time frame that you're going through its wormhole. A wormhole is all level position, location, and security measure. This is a wormhole. Now, your position location in the center line, right? You have to learn how to travel through it, through its information, because it's recognizing your DNA when you're traveling through it. It's picking up your calculation to its system of its chakra system. Okay? So understanding that position location calculations, you go through another Stargate line center, you go through another Stargate line center, you go through another Stargate line center. Okay, one after another, right? So once you understand the position of its direction, then you understand more levels of view, a mastering, your focus, clarity. Coming into the command center location of view, I'm going to go through a Stargate line channel. Boom, I've gone through. When you go through these things, you really have to understand the adaptation to its vibration, its energy, and its frequencies, because it's all connected to its harmonics. It's all position, location, levels of shapes. How to use it is your correlation. How to understand it is your provision. How to know it is your knowledge of its intelligence. Okay? So, space expanding, yeah. It's exactly what it is, knowing exactly what you're up against when you're traveling, right? So remember, you're traveling through the mind, and then when the space comes to you through mind interception location, it's all about understanding the mind comes to you through space. So when space is ready to come to you, your correlation changes its vibration location, and it opens up more levels of you and sideline. This balances up more levels of your vibration, and it puts you in a better trajectory location in its calculations. Setting signals, panels, and communication information puts you in a better track line center. How to use your vortex communication is all levels of you when you come into your Merkaba, your Tesseract, and your tetrahedron of travel. Okay? So you travel through the mind, and then the mind travels to you. And then when you understand that, you switch that. And every time you're in perception location, you're no longer outline center. You're traveling through the mind system of the inner line lock location. Once you lock the sequence locations, you're always going to be going forward. You're not going to be going back, because you understand back is just a reference. There's nothing in the back location. Okay? So if you want to perceive that in the past line, that's totally fine, but always use it as a reference. Never use it as a forced position location of calculation, because it changes your timeline of its existence right away in all calculation. All right? So, all right. Recognizing all data, beta, waves, alphabetical vibration, and knowing when seen in the intelligence. Well, there you go, Terry. I know, it's a lot to see, yeah. It's making sense here, and you explain this. Yeah. Well, that's what it is, Sammy. And when you understand more levels of your compass, and the same thing with Jill with the Scrambler, and Ambi with her timelines, and Airbender with his navigation, and Johnny with his communication, lyrics, and music and space, You get a better understanding. You get a whole level of you more through formation because your memory is coming back. Okay? And when your memory comes back, you start recognizing more levels of you through your timelines, right? Through your avatar stream. That connection alone puts you in a better position, location, and directions. Okay? So, all right. Everybody had fun. So you guys got more than a half hour to recuperate, drink your waters. Okay. Stay in the lane. Yep. Especially when you're traveling faster. The recognition of your timeline will change your position with so many sequence patterns. All right. Yeah, line state on interference locations, city realms. Knowing exactly where you are through your identifiers. Okay, Heather? Coming in communication line interference, you have to recognize each other from your heat signature location or patterns, line center interference, or direct location identifiers. Your position locations, because everybody's in a different unit of teleportation. All right, but you're all connected to each other. So, yeah, I'm glad you get a fun there, CC. Stay in the lane serves you with every day. It's amazing how others want to. Yeah, but see, that's the same. Stay in your own lane. Stay in your own yard, especially when you're traveling faster. Because when you are traveling faster, you're starting to recognize more of you, which is recognizing more of them, right? So it's important you understand, stay in your own panels. It's very simple to do these things, guys. You don't go here, you don't go here, you don't go anywhere else. You stay here, right? You stay in your focus. You stay in your clarity. You stay in your awareness. You stay in your mind. You stay in your travel. Okay? Stay in your navigations and you'll be totally fine. Okay? So, yeah, it's exactly what it is. All right, so I'll see you guys on Zoom. Adios.